find out more about what's happening in Israel and what, if at all, we're going to be sucked into this war as well. Lisa Daftari is a counterterrorism and foreign policy expert. So, Lisa, Americans are waking up or turning on the TV today and finding out what's happening there. We're always used to incidents, rocket attacks, if you will, isolated in Israel. Why is today very different?
The scale on which we are watching these horrific, barbaric attacks, I can almost say have never happened in the modern history of Israel. And I will also mention this is on the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War, which happened exactly on October 6, 50 years ago. Look, there's so much to unpack here, right? And Daniel did such a wonderful job from Israel, obviously being right there in the line of fire. This is very similar to ISIS-type attacks, where it is so brutal, where they are murdering and spilling blood and bragging about it and dancing and passing out candy, and we have all the footage to show because they're bragging about it on these social media channels, on Telegram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and you can see this on Instagram, everywhere. These videos are circulating. This is very important on so many different levels. Obviously, we're worried about Israelis. These are civilians. We're seeing people of all ages. There were old people just piled up, dead bodies at a bus stop because they were just shooting, going through and shooting. The fact that they caught them so off guard with such a robust intel apparatus in Israel is a very big story here as to how this happened, how they came in, how they took these hostages. And of course, it's not going to end here. This is going to get bloodier and bloodier. The death toll rising, the number of hostages unknown right now, but upwards of 50 to 100 hostages. And of course, the rockets keep falling into Israel. So a lot to unpack here just on day one of all of this. We know it's going to be ongoing. Another thing to mention here is that, yes, they came in through the south and they're spreading upwards north towards Tel Aviv and Herzliya. But the other fear is that Hezbollah, that has doubled down on their commitment to terrorizing Israel and killing Israelis in the past few months, may join the war in the north, then making it much more challenging for Israel to contain this war so quickly. Of course, we want to talk about the aid that they're getting from Iran's regime. Of course, we know whether it's Palestinian Islamic Jihad or Hamas obviously taking the reins on all this, but we do believe that there are several terror groups that have joined forces to plan this very robust and planned out attack. They're getting money from Iran's regime. Not only that, if people deny that this is the money that's coming from Iran's regime, which they cannot do, but if they do, I will tell you this, there's U.S. taxpayer money that is paying for this as well, because the aid that Donald Trump stopped and was reinstated by the Biden administration is going straight into the pockets of the Palestinian terrorists. We have talked about this for decades. I wrote an article about 10 years ago about how Palestinians are the victims of Hamas. And this is exactly what we're watching. When you defend the Palestinian people, when you think that there are two sides to this story, just know that it is Iran's regime pulling the puppet strings. They're terrorizing 80 million of their own Iranian people back at home. They're funding dozens of terror proxies in the Middle East, including Hamas, that is killing innocent Israelis right now of all ages. And of course, the White House, biggest message to the White House right now, that they are working with, funding, and emboldening terrorists in Tehran right now.
Well, we can only hope that this ends quickly and other countries or terrorist organizations in places in the north, like Lebanon and Syria, don't get involved in this too. So, Lisa, I appreciate you coming on today.
Of course. Thank you.